Hello and welcome to a probably completely irrelevant NUFC fans forum because the time is 11:12 on Tuesday, November the 21st, and by the time this is edited and recorded and uploaded, chances are it'll all be completely redundant and we'll have a load more information. But we're going to try and go through the Takeover stuff regardless. Should we start with the Man United game first and get it out of the way?
Yeah, that's a nice big bag of balls to push to the side.
Because despite everything that happened last night, we did actually have a league game at the weekend. It seems to have been forgotten about. And I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought we actually did all right.
To a certain extent, we started
Is
well.
anybody's water?
Certainly, it's not mine. Fire away.
No.
We started very well. You know, it was kind of the inverse game plan of what I thought we'd adopt. I thought we might sit back, maybe let them tire out a little bit and attack later on. But no, we came right out there. Gale scored a lovely little finish. And
Dwight Gale will always score goals, as the song goes.
He surely will. And then, Man United happened, didn't they?
Man United did happen, yes.
It did happen, yeah. It's one of those scorelines that a few years ago would have looked like a thrashing, but it's just kind of the norm these days.
Yeah.
You got to accept it.
In what sense? Do you mean it wasn't a thrashing, or that's just what happened?
It didn't feel as much
Explore
of a
this point
thrashing.
while I go and turn around the little...
Right, okay, okay. I don't know, 4-1... It used to be more embarrassing than it is now, but I think the gulf between, especially the two Manchester sides, probably Chelsea as well, is just so much higher now than it was, I would say, 3-4 years ago, that, I don't know, I just didn't feel humiliated.
I don't think we deserved to get beat 4-1, and I think we were very, very unlucky to go in behind. I know it's, when you watch your team play away to a big side, any sort of half chances you get, you automatically take as, we've played really well. But I think genuinely and objectively, we had the much better chances of the first half. We looked a lot better on the ball. We looked a lot more ambitious than they did in parts. I think we should have gone in level at least. And then if you go in level, as opposed to going in down, come out, we still got something to play for, and that third goal was just killed it off. I think it's, if anything, because they were pushing, they caught us out with that third goal. I think anything, we deserve credit for how, we kept the pressure on them, and then after they went 3-1 up, was it, well, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
And then we played, 35, nearly 40 minutes against Man United when the game was over, and we only conceded one. Like, better teams than us will go there and have a bigger collapse than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a real golfing quality there as well. They finished pretty much every chance they had, apart from Lukaku blazing it over and Martial's awful little sclaff to the side. Yeah, it's just a tough day at the office, really. I mean, you can argue that Elliott maybe should have done better on a couple, and we could have been stronger in the air. But
I don't like to be critical of Elliott because I am a Rob Elliott fan. Don't get me wrong. I think if we've got a bit of money to spend, a goalkeeper is one of the first things we go for. But I think he does, given what we paid for him and who he is, I think he does a very good job. But I do think those two, the first and second Man United goals, if that ball's dropping in your 6-yard box, you've surely got to be at least attempting to make that yours.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's always been his crutch, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's not the most confident of keepers. He's gotten better in that regard, I think. But, when you're letting 2 goals like that.
I actually think Elliott's main issue is long-range shot stopping. I don't think he knows how to do big dives. He always sort of throws himself like Superman at them.
Yeah.
But I was impressed with Shelby. I thought Hayden did well despite his early booking. Jacob Murphy, perhaps as a result of diminished expectation, looked Harry.
I thought
he worked hard.
Yeah.
I'm surprised his confidence hasn't been completely battered out of him. Because
Yeah.
it's gone quite sour, this dream move for him.
It really has.
I mean, he's the most expensive summer signing, and he just hasn't factored into the plans at all. So, yeah, you're going to take a positive out of this. It probably is.
To be fair to
Young
Rafa,
Jacob.
every time Murphy's had a stinker, which has been every time he's played, he's then taken him out for a prolonged... He hasn't thrown him straight back in.
Right,
Where
exactly.
he's
Compounded the...
Because you imagine being in that situation. It's your dream move. You're playing badly. You're starting the next game. It's like, oh, God, I've really got to perform here. It's like, no, I'm going to take him out, let people forget about him for a bit, and then he keeps giving him chances.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say he's probably, given the injuries as well, he's probably earned start against...
I would say so as well. It's another good thing about Rafa's squad system as well. Previously, under previous regimes, obviously, Ashley never let previous managers have a squad, but I think having a squad has benefited Jacob Murphy because he's not been thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's a little bit different to our other wingers as well. Atsu's very fast and direct. Richie's a hard worker, but he's not going to skin.
Jacob Murphy's not fast or hard.
No, he's rubbish. Richie's a grafting player with a wand of a left foot. So, let's see what he can do. I mean, he had a lovely moment on the right flank where he just completely made a fool of Ashley Young. Fortunately, he got really complacent
now,
seconds later.
We watched. I saw that. I was like, oh, he's got 2 defenders on him, and he got past them. You watch it back; they all just kick it off each other's shins.
Oh, okay.
It looks like it goes out, but then breaks forward. And Ashley Young goes, "Oh, well, that's a throw in then," and just stops playing.
Oh, okay.
And Murphy's just like, "Oh, I've got away with the ball."
Yeah, and then he made a twat.
It wasn't a bit of skill. That I mean,
Okay.
I could have done that against Ashley Young.
I'll
and
retract
whoever the
that
other defender
compliment.
was.
Yeah, probably.
We were talking about this the other day. Like Murphy's like an actual talented squad player, like somebody who we should be putting in the first 11, but has to be content with a spot on the bench.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation. When was the last time we actually had? What is the state of this desk? We actually had a player who was in that situation where he was probably good enough to play, because all the squad players we've traditionally had have been garbage, and we're very fortunate to get any game time.
What
was it? Sylvain Marveau?
That was the first name
the last time we had a decent squad player.
Coming out.
I think it probably would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Never had options on the bench, so I mean, just take the positive.
No, it's always been your Pancrats and your
Yeah.
Cisco's and your.
So yeah, I mean that's our. That's the 5 minutes the result merited. Can we just talk about the takeover now?
Yeah.
Yeah, something fun.
Right. Anyone got the latest on this? Because we'll go through the timeline. Last night, Sky Sports News report that a £300 million bid has been submitted by PCP Partners, and they would be seeking exclusivity this week.
Yes.
Great positive step. I think a lot of people got carried away and thought, "Oh, that's it. We've been sold."
Yeah.
Then
Well, what do you tweet? Pints
Pints Town.
Yeah, so you got carried away,
yeah,
didn't
of course
you,
it
mate?
did. Let's
fun.
let's all go flipping mental, as the
Yes.
song goes. Yeah, so that then did the rounds. Everyone got a bit carried away. It was obviously going to be the first bid and whatever. But then news started leaking out saying, "Oh, it's not actually 300 million at all. It's actually quite a bit lower than that, and it comes with a load of stipulations." And all of a sudden, oh, it's off. It's off. We're screwed.
Yeah.
Then some more details are starting. It's actually quite a positive first step, and they're going to have talks. Anyone got a clue what's going on?
Go on, Andy.
It was
Let's go
very
through the
typically
balls.
Newcastle, isn't it? Swinging from one end of the spectrum
Yes.
and then settling in the middle.
Yes.
It's I'm very encouraged by this whole thing because, when Ashley bought the club, it's been quite well documented that man did no due diligence whatsoever. He ended up in the situation he had.
That's
absolutely
great
no
in your
idea to
accent,
deal
by
with.
the way. No due diligence.
Yeah, I can't even say it properly, man. It's perfect. And so we got the complete contrast of that now, which should theoretically, if we get a takeover, prevent this big soup of a mess of a soup.
Soup of a mess.
Soup of a mess.
Almost as if Staveley didn't make her riches by having a sweatshop.
Almost,
She's an
yeah, like
actual
she's an actual
businesswoman,
businesswoman.
Yeah, it's weird that.
Is
isn't it?
there potentially, and I'm surprised I didn't see more people talking about this, but is there potentially that maybe the club is, I'm completely freewheeling with this, so jump in at any point. Perhaps they've
It'd
looked.
be funnier if I don't.
They've looked at the books, they've looked at everything, and perhaps it's not quite as appealing a prospect as they thought it was, but still worthwhile pursuing. So they've put in quite a low bid. Now, knowing that Ashley would probably go, well, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
But knowing that he has a huge public perception problem with his, customers, effectively, that's what we are.
Yeah.
They've leaked that out straight away of it being a good bid. So anything he does to the contrary looks like he's just trying to be difficult.
Yes.
Was the whole leak last night a deliberate ploy on the part of PCP to try and make it harder for Ashley to turn it down?
Think there's a very high chance. I hadn't even thought of it in that way.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
Ashley, his image has really, really been torn to pieces,
Yeah,
rightly so, over the past
crux
few years.
of this, though, is that if you have to look at it from the perspective of Mike Ashley, he gives no Fs. Usually I swear on these things.
Feel
he doesn't
free,
care.
I've got that really funny way of censoring them now.
He gives no about his own public image. So, I think any kind of protests about that are really moot.
Yeah.
He just simply doesn't care.
Yeah, what does he care about apart from 0-hour contracts and having
Yeah.
massive pints?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Is there... how are you both... Because obviously when it came out last night, everyone was very positive. How are you
Yeah.
both feeling some 12 hours removed?
Well, since he's not here, I'm going to play the role of Simon Gallagher. and just until it happens, I just don't know. Part of us wants to think this is an ultra-professional outfit. Who have you said I like that out politicking him?
Have you met Simon Gallagher? How is this the Simon Gallagher role? The Simon Gallagher role in this is, well, we're shy anyway.
Yeah.
Hate Rafa.
Hey, Rafa.
Hate Rafa.
Shite.
Okay, I'm just going to do that. I hate Rafa. He's too negative away from home. So I always get beat 1-0 off teams we should be beaten 5-0.
Anyway, Andy, are you positive about this? Because it all seems to have balanced out. Last night was overwhelmingly positive, and then there was a lot of concern, and now this morning it seems to have sort of come at an even keel of it's just business taking place.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with this club, you really learn to temper your expectations, don't you?
No, I haven't, amazingly.
Okay.
I appreciate I should have done, but I really don't.
Yeah, I wish I had your...
I'm still fighting for this title, mate.
Well, I wish I had that level of boyish enthusiasm. No, it's. I want to be more excited than I am. I'm optimistic that this is going to take us to a better place. I think her background and so forth is very, very encouraging. And I find it really, really difficult to imagine a future worse than the past 10 years we've endured with this twat at the helm. So, I mean, it's hard not to look and think, oh, better days must be ahead. But at the same time, it's Newcastle. Something terrible's going to happen next.
Would it have got this far if that was a derisory bid, or if they didn't take it seriously, or if Mike Ashley really just didn't want to keep this club?
This is the thing, right? How many multi-million-pound business takeovers have you been involved in? Any for you?
Zero.
Zero for me. How many multi-million-pound takeovers have, and with all due respect to them, the majority of the footballing press ever actually had an insight into? Exactly. The fact is, this is a story that is developing and is, taking its cues from a sector of the news that nobody who's interested in the story understands, and barely anybody who's reporting on the story understands. Like this, we should be following the business. We should be flipping to the middle of the paper to read about this,
not
the back.
No, we shouldn't, because someone report from the Business Insider or some kind of business rag last week saying that it's all a big smoke screen and Ashley doesn't really want to sell. And days later, there's a major development in the story. So,
yeah, but Business Insider is basically just... they're worse than us as a website. They just market them. My mate works there. They just market themselves as a business website so people don't think it looks like spam when it comes up on Facebook.
Right, okay, fair enough.
I'll not use your name. Come on. What have we got? I mean, today we've got some reports that it's going to be... they've offered them a staggered deal. The various things I've written here. One, they've offered them options, and you can either have this much up front or a little bit more if it's staggered and incentivized. And B, they want a relegation clause in it so that if we go down, Ashley has to pay some of it back, which he'll never go for in a million years, will he?
No, not at all.
No, not at all. It's it's pretty. I mean, all these deals are obviously complex. The size of them kind of tells you that much. But the relegation one's pretty interesting. What kind of immediate future does this group envisage if they want to include that kind of clause?
Well, I think perhaps they envisage a future where this isn't going to be completely resolved by the end of the January transfer window, and they recognise how limited the squad is.
Okay.
So I think, now that, again, I have no idea, but if I was in that position, I'd be looking at it and thinking, well, we know that squad needs investment. It's hanging on in the league by virtue of having a very good manager. If Ashley said, oh, well, this is going to get wrapped up February, March, so I don't need to worry about the long-term future of the club. In fact, wouldn't it be funny if I sell it for 300 million and they go down?
Yeah.
Is this idea of putting a relegation clause in literally a way of them going, you need to spend some money in January, otherwise you're going to lose money in the summer?
That's a really great point.
The only thing I've seen terrify Mike Ashley is relegation.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't scare him that much. It's like me saying I'm terrified of lions because I got my leg bitten off by one, and then a few years later coming in with no legs.
This is true. But he did go on Sky Sports a few years ago when a lot of the fans were at their most wanting to boycott, and he kind of tried to assuage their fears by going, we're going to spend in the summer and all the rest of it.
Of course, yeah.
We're not going anywhere. I'm not leaving till we win a trophy.
Yes, I remember that.
Champions League qualification.
So I do think it's the one thing that he's mildly terrified about. So hopefully this is just them recognising that and then just trying to secure their options. Yeah.
I mean, for him, the relegation thing's all a revenue hit anyway, isn't it?
Well, this is it, yeah. And if all he cares about is money, then it's realistic to think that is a concern.
I've seen conflicting reports, which I imagine is pretty much all we're going to get between now and this actually gets finished.
Yeah.
But did he say initially he wanted 400 million or 300 million?
400 is the asking price. He actually did. It's not his paper talk. I think he actually formally disclosed that to Sky Sports.
Yeah,
300
did.
million's the offer. I mean, that is a major gulf. But again, I just can't see developments getting to this point if there wasn't some kind of informal thing.
Precise.
An interesting thing, I think it was Simon Bird tweeted, was that something to do with, if you do all the maths, the money that Ashley's got tied up in the club is somewhere in the region of about 240 to 260 million.
Yeah.
So whatever he sells for above that is the profit he makes.
Yes.
Now, 40 million to you or I sounds
Great.
pretty good. I'd be happy with that personally. I could lower my lifestyle to that sort of level if I needed to. But that's nowhere near what he's going to accept apparently.
Yes.
And then these further reports that it was actually lower than 300 million means you're looking at between 20, 30 million profit, which I imagine he wanted to make over 100 million profit on this. And Ashley hasn't gotten, for all we say, Amanda Staveley hasn't gotten anywhere in business by being a purveyor of crap tracksuits to Rajis. Ashley hasn't gotten anywhere by effectively compromising. We've learned that
absolutely.
firsthand.
Yeah.
But he's not quite Daniel Levy, is he?
Well, no, that's true. He wishes he was. I think.
He wishes he was.
I think that's his dream.
But I'll be honest. I think this offer has to get to at least 350 million, even if it's incentivized over long terms.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, it's in everything Ashley does, isn't it? From the way he runs Sports Direct to our transfer windows.
But if you try and frame it in a frame of reference that we kind of have some inkling about, as opposed to this, which I don't know why you're watching, because we don't. If you look at it like if you look at it like a football transfer and think of those valuations,
where 10 Sissoko's.
and it feels like there's room for negotiation, as opposed to when Ashley tries to buy football players where there is zero room for negotiation.
Yeah, it did smack of an opening. Once I'd calmed down and
it's
got
an
off the
open
ceiling,
bid.
it's an opening bid, one which I think is not going to be even close to being accepted.
Yeah.
But I think the thing you've got to keep in mind with all this is that we have got a transfer window coming up.
Yeah.
The impact of the squad's performance. Now, this is a £300 million business deal, including a takeover of a very public, very big business. This usually takes
forever.
years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they want it wrapped up in weeks and months. So I've got no doubt whatsoever that the leaking of this is in some way designed to strengthen the PCP position.
Yeah.
To either, we've put a bid in. Why hasn't it been accepted? Like, if the public know the bid's in, every day now we're like, well, when's he accepted?
What's he doing? Yeah.
Whereas for all we know, when you get an offer like this, it takes weeks of due diligence to look at the offer. We don't know any of this stuff.
Nah.
So I think they're trying to put pressure on him to either make the offer harder to refuse, or just to mean he has to be more proactive in responding to it.
Yeah.
It's all smoke and daggers
really
and cloaks
is.
and mirrors and
Wizards
all
and
that,
stuff. Yeah.
all that stuff. Hand on heart, though, are we going to have new owners by Christmas?
No.
No.
No?
I think the timescale's way too short. Like,
I'm still reading weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that as soon as this whole before Christmas thing was announced, it's that's too soon. Unless someone's going to rush their way through the process, like Ashley did when he acquired the club, it's too soon. Obviously, I don't know that as a complete outsider.
Again, we need to preface everything with we are not the men to be
Exactly.
talking about for multi-million-pound business deals.
Exactly.
We'll get Pacitti on next week.
Yeah.
On my extremely limited knowledge of how these things work, I think it's too ambitious. Still do.
Matt Sidgwick?
Yeah. I'm gonna agree.
I think we'll have a definitive answer before Christmas. Whether that definitive answer is it's all blown up, it's off, we're stuck with Ashley forever, who isn't spending any money in January. Oh God, why do we bother?
Yeah.
I think either way we're going to know what's going to be happening by Christmas. And I personally think that relegation clause is very shrewd.
Yeah.
Because it forces him to, if he's going to be the owner and the tenant of this club.
Yeah.
For January, February, March, pretty much up until the end of this season, close enough.
Yeah.
Certainly the meaty part of the season.
Yeah.
It forces him to take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Which you look at him and you worry that as soon as he feels like it's out of his hands, like it's not his problem anymore, he just gives even less
Absolutely.
of a bother.
Speaks to the one thing he cares about as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If we go down, you're losing.
It just
money.
means he can't drive the price down.
Yep.
Yeah, true. Well, you got to remember as well, if it looks like we're going down, that's surely bad for him because the club's right now. I mean, when he put us up for sale, we were what 6th, 7th, 8th, looking like a strong top half side.
Solid mid-table
We're
side,
enjoying a bit of a slide now because he hasn't invested in the depth of the squad. And I've got to be like as optimistic as I am about this season. I think where we are now, I can't see us getting any higher by the end of the season. I'd be quite happy for us to stay 11th or 12th.
Yeah, I'd fine.
I think the only way is, unless there's investment in January, the only way is down for us.
Yeah, if it wasn't for this takeover, I would end the season now.
Yeah, just call it, man.
But I think once we start getting to 14th, 15th, 16th, all of a sudden it looks like a very risky proposition for investors, especially if the transfer window shut by that.
Absolutely.
So he needs to keep us in this division if he wants to sell the club. I wouldn't be surprised if they even said to him, look, we'll want a relegation release clause in it, but whatever you spend in January, we'll match, we'll put that on the price.
Yeah.
We'll effectively take that window off you.
The players, yeah.
But you've got to make sure it keeps the club in the division. I just don't know, lads. I want to be really excited about this.
Me too, man. Me too.
Does it not feel really precarious to anyone else?
Yeah.
It really does.
Because if they pull out and we don't spend in January, all of a sudden we've gone from like, we're going to win the league to,
we are absolutely knackered.
absolutely knackered.
Because Rafa is not going to be happy with this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, one thing that isn't getting reported a lot about this, which I know for a personal fact to be true, is that Rafa was the one who reached out to Amanda Staveley. He's the one that got the ball rolling on all this. This is him getting rid of, for all the good Rafa's done for this club, he's going to be the one who gets rid of Ashley.
Washing the out of the club. Yeah.
And if Ashley blocks this, if it all blows up, like, I'd be straight out the door.
Yeah,
I will make this guarantee now. If this all blows up and Rafa leaves as a result, I will stop supporting Newcastle United and just go and support whoever Rafa manages from now on. I'm no longer a Newcastle United fan. I'm a Rafa fan.
Yeah, I think I'll move back to Aberdeen if that happens.
I don't care where he goes. He goes to some rubbish club like.
Peterborough.
Who's rubbish? No, he wouldn't. No, come on, be realistic.
Oh, okay.
Fenerbahce.
Rangers.
Demba Ba still there?
I've got no idea.
No,
I don't know, man.
Rangers. I don't know if we'll go that far.
That would be gross, man. I couldn't do that personally.
If they get exclusivity on this, that I think is bad for us because it means that all our eggs are in one basket. Then
I think they already are.
Well,
I've heard no whispers of any other investor.
There's been rumours that other people have inquired.
I go on News Now 15 times a day, and I've read nothing.
I mean, there's this talk of these 4 or 5 other parties, isn't there? But, we've not heard a peep from any of them.
Again, that's another thing. This talk of 4 or 5 other parties could simply be from Ashley's people trying to make sure that they hurry their arses
Sure,
up.
absolutely. Yeah, more politicking.
I would honestly, and I reach out personally to all of you out there in internet land. Everything you read between now and this actually being... Until we see Staveley with the scarf, right, outside the club, until you see that, take everything with such a huge pinch of salt. Like, consider the motives of the people. Like, I have no doubt whatsoever that everything that gets reported, the press are reporting that because they genuinely have been told it.
Yeah.
With the exception of 1 or 2, who will just say whatever because their live blog needs a bit of traffic.
Yeah, get some clicks.
I think everything's going to be reported like in good faith. There's, everything's going to be there's a source for it all. And this goes for any football transfer story or any football story in general. Consider where they got that from. Consider who benefits from that being out there.
Yeah,
like it doesn't benefit the club.
Yeah.
At all that this £300 million offer got put in, especially when it then turned out it wasn't actually £300. That benefits the buyers massively, and I've got no doubt whatsoever it was deliberately put out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's going to be a lot of this. Like everything, you're going to hear stuff like, "Oh, the PCP don't actually have. They're not totally sure where their money's coming from," which could be total rubbish. But it all of a sudden, well, maybe we don't want it. We're going to get played like bloody fiddles, lads.
Yeah, it's not like football fans to make knee-jerk reactions on things like this, though, is it?
Hello, yes. I don't even think I said welcome to the fans forum because that goes without saying.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on this?
Please.
Yeah, please.
Please.
For the love of all that is blessed and pure in this world.
I just want this to happen so we can have one of these where we just literally draw up a dream list of players.
What a day that would be.
Yes.
What a day that would be.
I can't wait for the one where I have to open with. So, lads, is 40 million too much for Ross Barkley? have they had our eyes out there? I can't wait for that one.
God,
Luke Shaw, can Rafa really make a player out of him? Who's the other one? Andy Carroll. Welcome. Yeah. NUFC Fans Forum number 52. Welcome back, Andy.
What a trinity that is, man.
So Man United result, not too dispiriting. Who have we got next? Watford at home?
West Brom, isn't it? I thought it was West Brom.
I think it's Watford.
Done our homework here.
I think it's Watford.
Watford's a nasty game, man. They're quite the side this season.
Watford, yes, they're good. They are good, but they can't seem to put a run of results together, and they've just had another good one.
Law of averages.
Law of
maybe.
averages.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
plus,
We're due a win, aren't we?
we are due a win. Marino back for that, possibly?
I would certainly hope so.
Ah,
The
Was
midfield-
he was Instagramming that he was at training.
yeah.
I love honestly, Instagram's so much better for football player updates because
Yeah, it
I
is,
don't think
yeah.
the clubs are really sort of monitoring them the way they're monitoring Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, so they just say, oh, in the gym, and there's been no club official word on whether or not they're fit or not. Aaron's is the best. And also Yedlin teaching his dog to skateboard. What a simpler time it was 2 weeks ago when Yedlin's skateboarding dog was the most interesting thing we had to talk about. Anyway, Andy, stick your schneck over there and see how long we've got left on the camera. The little number in the bottom right.
Number in the bottom right, 4 minutes.
Oh, well. Yeah, anyone be bothered to do anything for 4 minutes, or should we just wrap up?
Wrap up.
Aye, right.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on this NUFC Fans Forum, which is probably already out of date in terms of the latest knowledge of the takeover. As far as we know, something's happening, which I guess is all we
kind
really
of.
Yeah.
wanted on the issue. I've been joined by the unlikely duo of Michael Sidgwick. Say goodbye, Michael.
Goodbye.
And Andy Murray.
Bye-bye.
Where can they get you on Twitter?
At M Sidgwick.
And I'm at Andy H. Murray.
That's very nice. I'm always at Adam Cleary forever now and until I'm dead. We'll be back next week, I guess. God knows what's going to happen between now and then. Oh, God. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Get us on Twitter at NUFC Fans. And stay tuned for all the latest funny GIFs and Simon tweeting from the Twitter account. Bye! Mwah. That'll do.
Lovely.
Oh, God.